One.
Check one, check one.
What do? Welcome to another episode of Flick Filter. Feels like it's been a while.
It has felt like it's been a while, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm Big Diesel,
I'm Coach.
and what we got to get today, Coach?
What are we talking about today? We are talking about the Oscars. Yes, yes. We are talking about the Oscars. I can hear your excitement. I can hear your enthusiasm. I know it's your favorite night every year when we get to talk about the movies, the awards, all the things.
You
Yep.
lost me at the awards.
I know. I know. If you're watching this, you may or may not be interested in the Academy Awards. We hope you are. We hope you are because
What is the difference between the Oscars and Academy Awards? I thought it was.
you thought they were two different things or the same.
Yeah.
They are the exact same thing. I don't know the history of it. I had looked this up at some point. I think it was named after somebody, Oscar,
Named
somebody.
Oscar.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oscar the Grouch.
We'll have to look. We'll get back to y'all on that. Um, but we'll stop yapping away about irrelevant stuff. But yeah. So the Oscars were this past Sunday. Well, depending on when y'all see this. But yeah, the Oscars just happened.
As of recording this.
Yes, as we're recording this. Thank you. Diesel.
On Saturday.
Yes.
The 8th.
Yeah, but y'all don't need to know that.
They know it.
Now they do. Anywho, yes, the Oscars. So, big things happen in the world of Oscardom.
Oscardom, this word.
I just came up with it. Yep. So
we're just going off freestyling.
Freestyling. Yep. So Conan O'Brien was the host. Yep.
He looked old.
His words, not mine. Yeah, he did a pretty good job from what I saw. So spoiler alert, I saw like the second half of the show, and then I had to rewatch the first half. So not even sure if I was able to catch all of it, but people won awards, and we're here to talk about that. Yep, we here to talk about that. But from what I saw, Conan did a pretty good job. He kept the crowd engaged. He got some laughs. It definitely needed kind of like a comics energy, which they usually tend to get a comedian to host because they need that energy for the long 3 hour show. But yeah, especially with everything going on in LA, these past couple months with the fires and last year with the strikes, it was a lot has been going on with the city and they needed this night to kind of lift their spirits.
Is it always in the same city?
It's all. Is it always in the same city? I think it pretty much is. I think it pretty much is. Pretty much almost always in LA. So
it's where the top cats.
Yeah, that's where Hollywood is.
The big cats.
Yeah. But anywho, to get on with the actual award. So, Anora won really big. They won, I believe, 5 awards total out of the 6 they were nominated for. They pretty much won all the big stuff. So they won Best Picture. I like to call him Sam. Sean Baker won for Best Director. I think Best Original Screenplay, Best Editor, Best Editing, and there's another one that I'm forgetting. But it was the first time in like Oscars history that one person won 4 awards in one night because he happened to be he was the director, but he also wrote it. He was a producer. He edited it, so he basically had his hand in all these different parts of the film, which is really impressive. I don't know if he was the cinematographer. I don't know if he was the DP as well, but he definitely did his thing, and the the film only had a $6 million budget, which is very very small. I read that the actual Oscar campaign had 16 million, or sorry, 18 million, which is three times the actual budget of making the movie. So it goes to show just how much money and marketing goes into an Oscar campaign. So when you see certain movies at these award shows, know that there was a lot of financial backing and investing that went into it. So
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, yeah. Even with some stuff that looks like smaller, there was still a lot of money that went into it.
So what goes into the campaign? Why
That's a
can't it
great
just
question.
be, it stands on its own merits? No.
So that's a great question, and I honestly have a similar question myself, like that feeling of like, okay, if a movie's good, why don't they just award the best thing? Because the thing is, like, so many movies are made every year that it's. I mean, you do have like the independent stuff, but in terms of like mainstream, there a lot can get lost in the shuffle. So a movie can be good, but it's like, well, if nobody
Because
is
not
heard about it,
everybody
yeah.
has the money to campaign for,
No, that's true. That's true.
especially some of these smaller films.
Yeah.
So already, if they got to do a lot of campaigning,
Mm-hmm.
that already, and they're a smaller film already,
Mm-hmm.
so it's quite obvious that
Yeah.
is it? Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking, but
No, that's a
yeah,
good.
yeah.
No, that's a good point.
But you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
just
good
like,
point.
It
That
feels like it's just kind of, I don't know the word. I don't know.
artificial. If it's like
yeah.
if all the campaigning goes into it, then it's like
Like, if it is it really genuine of getting this award? Why do people really want this award? If you got to do, if it doesn't feel earned.
mm,
Feels like you just sold out,
Mm.
bought into it. So
Yeah.
that's just my
well,
thinking.
I will say, so you can't, like, even if you can campaign super hard, but the movie still has to have a certain level of critical success. Now there are exceptions where there are certain movies that get in, and you're like, well, nobody liked that. I mean, we can get into specifics, but
Right.
there's a few movies. Well, one in particular this year that there's a lot of controversy behind, and it was a foreign film. It was a lot of definitely did have a lot of financial backing, um, and even a lot of controversy with in terms of the lead actress saying some remarks about the cast and some yeah, it was a lot going on with that. But even before those things were revealed, there was a lot of financial backing that went into promoting the film. It even being on Netflix, a major platform, and then getting all these nominations, like 13 nominations. That was like the second most, or I think all time. But um, with that, it was also not the most positively received from fans and critics. So then you're wondering, how did that even get in? And to be honest, I have the same question. Like, I would ask, like, voters, like, are we seeing the same thing? I didn't watch the movie, so I'm not going to say what my opinion was on it. But for the most part, I'm universally hearing that it wasn't a good movie. So then the average person's like, so why is this getting all these nominations? But there's like all this other stuff going on behind.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot of politicking, I'll say. So I guess from a movie, the average movie watcher, they're probably thinking like, yo, what's going on? Like, why is this movie getting all this buzz or this success? And then you watch it and you're like, that wasn't all that. But also, the other thing with Oscars is it has a very large international body in terms of the voters. So there may be people over there where it appeals to them more in certain countries that, like, for us, we're just like, oh, I don't really get it. I don't think that's good. But again, like some things are universal. Like some things are universally liked, whereas other things are just they're like more so by their particular thing. So
back to
yeah. So I say that to say, um, yeah, the Oscars. There's a lot that goes into a campaign, and I don't think that's necessarily a great thing for people who I would say for people who care about the Oscars or people who care about awards. You'll probably realize like, oh yeah, a lot does go into this, but a movie also, for the most part, needs to have some sort of acclaim or like it needs to be well received to even have a chance to begin with.
yeah.
So you may think, oh, it's not even worth it, but it may be for somebody who is trying to make a living or even get their next project off the ground.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, we did have like another. I mean, we had another, I guess, first as far as who won certain awards. I forgot his name. I wrote it down, but we had the second ever. Paul Tazwell was the first black man to win costume design, and he was a costume designer for Wicked. So he won best costume design. I think Wicked also won. Was it set design or production design?
Mm-hmm. I didn't watch it. You watched it.
Yeah, but we watched some of it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he won. He won for costume design. I think Ruth Carter. She won for costume design. She won for Black Panther a few years back, and I think she won for Wakanda Forever as well. So
Gotcha.
Yep. So that was the first. I'm Still Here. It won Best International Feature for Brazil. So that was a big one. So and that was the first time they've ever won an award. So, well, that first time they've won an international feature award. I don't know if that was the first thing that the country's ever won for Oscars, but yeah, it was a year first.
They like to do their first.
Yep. And another thing, as far as the acceptance speeches, there was Kieran Culkin, he won for best supporting actor in a real pain, and he had this speech. It was basically towards his wife, basically like so. I think last year he won at the Emmys for Succession, and he had a joke. He said something about, oh, if I win. He basically said to his wife like, oh, if I win, or something about, oh, we should have another baby or something, and then she was basically like, yeah, sure, if you win an Oscar. And then he brought it back up when he was accepting that award. And apparently he hadn't mentioned it at all up until that point. He's like, so let's get ready for baby number 4 or something. So
baby number 4.
Yes, I don't know if he was, I think he was joking, but yeah.
That's a lot. Yeah. But anywho, what else happened?
What else happened? We had some speeches. We had actually some good speeces. Zoe Saldana's speech I thought that was a really good speech.
Yeah.
She won for Best Supporting Actress. She had a really good speech. Oh yes, of course. So, Mikey Madison, she won for Best Actress for Nora, and that was a big win because it was really between her and Demi Moore. I think Demi Moore was probably the favorite for a lot of people, but so that was a surprising thing because I thought Demi was going to win. because she's been around for a while, and a lot of times they like to give certain awards to actresses that or actors or actresses as they've gotten older, and it's like, oh yeah, it's your time, and finally get something, and then here comes Mikey Madison, who she's like 25, and she's just basically just getting started in a sense. But from what a lot of people have said that she did great in Nora. I've seen clips. I haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen it yet, but from a lot of people said she did great. So shout out to her. Good for her. Yeah, shout out to her. Yeah, shout out to her. But yeah, I think a lot of people did say Demi Moore gave like the best performance of her career with The Substance. So I feel like I don't know. She's bummed out about it. She won other awards too leading up to it, but yeah. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, but she. I mean, she's she's a legend.
Yeah.
She's a legend. Some people say it kind of mirrors the plot of the movie, which I can't say if that's true or not, but I don't know, because in The Substance, she basically takes this drug substance and it transforms her into a younger version of herself. Yeah, so you can kind of picture how that goes.
Yes.
Crazy stuff, man. And then we had Adrian Brody. He won for Best Actor. Yep, for The Brutalist.
Was it brutal?
His speech was. People made jokes about the speech. It was like, yeah, this speech is longer than the movie because the movie's like 3.5 hours. Yeah.
Was that the?
Yeah, he had the really long speech. Really long-winded. Yeah. Crazy stuff, man. But yeah, we had some. Oh, so the first thing I should have mentioned was the opening performance.
Oh, okay.
We had Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. They did some music. They did some stuff. Ariana Grande did Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Wizard of Oz, and then Cynthia did Home from The Wiz, and then they both did Defying Gravity, of course. They killed it. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. They did the thing. Yeah, they.
You already said it, and then you tried to correct yourself while on camera.
I know, man. We're gonna edit that out. No,
we're not.
Anywho, the music. So, I say that to say they definitely started off the show. They started off the show real strong.
Okay.
They did.
Yeah.
They usually do musical performances of all the songs that were nominated for Best Original Song, but this year they didn't do that, which I like the change up. But they still gave you what the people wanted, because if you didn't get Defying Gravity, I feel like people would have been mad.
Your people.
The people that watched the show would have been mad.
I know, your people. Or people that loved
this guy.
You know.
Anywho, and then but I am going to talk about the In Memoriam real quick for all the people that passed away last year. We had a lot of folks, a lot of folks in the community.
Even this year.
Even this year, yeah. Well, they did include Gene Hackman, because that happened right before.
Yeah, we do need to talk about that.
That did happen right before, literally like that. I think the Wednesday before that did happen. So he was included. Of course, I think Quincy Jones was. He was on. Like he did a lot of his music was included in the actual performance.
And then I think I got something like it was a heart illness or something like that for Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
And His wife died like
The week prior, yeah,
like either a week or two prior,
which is crazy.
and then the dog. So it was really weird how all that happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We may have to go into a whole separate thing
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Talking about different people that well, just news in general, because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot's happened
Yeah.
lately.
So we'll get to that.
Yeah. They didn't include Michelle Trachtenberg, which a lot of people were upset about, even though um, some people knew her more from TV. I guess I knew her more from certain films that she was in.
Hey, the spy was me and Inspector Gadget.
Yep, she was.
I didn't watch her TV stuff.
Yeah, she was in Ice Princess, 17 Again, Euro Trip.
With Matthew Perry.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man. But yeah, she was in. Apparently on TV, she was on Buffy and
Yep.
Gossip Girl.
Yep.
Yeah. So shout out to her. Shout out to her.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yeah. But yeah, man, this war show was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty good show. It was kind of long, but they always tend to be.
Yeah.
Probably forgetting something, but you know. And you got
that is show business.
That is show business. You got anything you want to add? Anything you want to see, or any even ways you feel like they could make, not even make the Oscars better, but maybe even like things that you feel like they could do differently as far as the industry.
Yeah, I would say it's very. I would keep the politics out of it. It takes away from the actual like award show.
Okay.
It feels just like, oh, it's a lot of these fat cats, big cats, kind of. And you can tell, and it's like they're trying to check off boxes. It's like, oh yeah, we can make history by giving this award to certain people. We can snub this actress so this other actress can get it. It's a lot of just hand waving, and I just feel like it takes everything out of it. Also, it doesn't feel like they actually awarded something. Like it doesn't feel like an accomplishment. It's like, oh yeah, of course, this won, so many awards. It's like, I don't know. I feel like they can leave the politics out of it, leave the politics in government and
so
all that stuff.
My follow-up question with that, it would be, because you kind of pointed this out, even we were watching certain parts earlier where you were seeing the nominations and they would show certain clips and you're like, oh yep, that's that one. Oh yep, I know that's gonna win. So you could even tell just from that. So I guess my question would be, do you feel like that, like if it's let's say it's a, like the actual subject matter of the thing is political, then how do they leave that out of it? I'm more so playing devil's advocate in the sense of, I hate the term devil's advocate, but I more so like, if the subject matter is political, then how do you avoid leaving politics out of it, outside of?
When I mean politics, I don't mean actual, like that is in and of itself its own genre.
Yeah.
But just because it is, maybe it relates to what's going on now, or it appeals to, it's like favoritism.
Yeah. Okay.
At a certain point, so it's not just because, oh yeah, it's a political film, so it shouldn't get the award. No, it's more of, why did it get the award, and why does it feel deserving of getting this award? Is it because it hits, something right now? Is it because you can deliver a good speech?
Yeah.
Is it because you're checking off boxes?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it actually a really good film that people should see?
Got you.
Because that enhances the viewing experience for people who have not seen the movie. If you go into any Oscars, a majority of these films you have not seen.
Yeah.
So isn't the point to kind of show off and to tell people, hey, you should see this film?
Yeah.
Instead of, oh yeah, you should see this film because it won an award, and then when you watch it, it's like, well, that's not. I don't feel like it. It doesn't feel deserving at that point, you know,
Yeah.
because you feel like, you know, feel like you got robbed or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, like
That's
underhanded.
You know,
You
I
know.
like that. I like what you said about that.
But in a counter question, why should somebody who maybe who either hasn't watched an award show in a while, or somebody who is skeptic of award shows like me, why should somebody, you know, who loves film,
Mm-hmm.
you know, start paying, like, why is it important for, you know, these films to get an Oscar?
That's a good question. So I guess to answer the first part. So why should somebody who's, I guess, a skeptic or somebody who hasn't watched in a while, why should they care? Um, I would say, for one, you get to learn about certain movies that you probably haven't heard of. Because I think we talked about certain things earlier. There were movies I was naming that you hadn't heard of, and not to say that they're good, but I think even if you check them out, you'll kind of get to see, like, okay, what the industry is looking for, at least right now. And that's not to say that, oh, that's what, the type of movies people should be making, or this is the type of stuff that they will be making years from now. But at least it'll let you know, like, okay, this is kind of like what's relevant at the moment. But it also puts you, it kind of opens up your world into other things, like the other movies that people in other countries are watching, the things that people in other countries are making. Like, I feel like it just it opens you up to other forms or other things in storytelling outside of just what we typically watch here in America, because they do have that more international body in terms of who's voting. So I feel like I would say that's one. It kind of just opens you up to more movies overall. Um, and again, not to say you're gonna like everything, but you'll at least be more aware of what's out there. It could also you may see an actor win for the first time, or even get nominated. Just to get nominated is a big feat, because 99 point however many percent of people won't get nominated. And that's not to say that they're not deserving or that they couldn't. It's just, it's a very competitive industry, unfortunately, even though it's artistic, but it is still very competitive. But I would say, even for people that don't want to sit through a whole 3 hours, I would say at least watching like recap videos, or like watching, like, if you have a certain like YouTube commentator or somebody who does reviews, like, or just industry people that keep up with this type of stuff, like, watch that type of stuff, listen to that. That kind of can get you kind of into why certain things matter, or even, like, what things are being awarded. So, not to get too long winded, but I think the overall thing is it just kind of exposes you to more movies. That's the big thing.
And then the second part of the question.
Remind me the second part.
I knew you would forget.
Yeah.
Um, I can't remember,
Yep.
but
It's okay.
no, it's gonna bug me. But
Yeah. Forgive us. Mostly forgive me because I should have remembered the question, the second part.
and also it was very long-winded, so by the time we got through,
Yeah.
I forgot it.
So it's on me. Um. Yeah, I gotta stop yapping so much.
It's all good. It's all good. But I think that's the point of this, just to kind of, you know, talk about the award shows.
Yeah, and it's good to have different perspectives on these
Right.
things.
Right. Right. Mm. But anywho,
Yeah. So I do agree. I actually do. I was gonna say I do agree with um, your point about like the best. I do think the best films should be uh, rewarded, and but also even the idea of awards like in in a very subjective industry, like so, sometimes you think like what's the point of like the awards anyway, like you were able to make a film that a lot of people loved and enjoyed, so that should be in your head, like that should be enough. But um, filmmaking is very expensive, and so they people need to kind of get a return on their investment so that they can continue to support themselves, support their families, and keep supporting the industry.
so why should somebody want to get an award? Or like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, definitely because
What's
it helps their career. So like once you get an award, you're in theory for most people you get phone calls like, hey, I want you in this thing. I want you to help me with this movie. I'm like, Mikey.
but
Yeah.
wouldn't your actions speak better than a oh yeah, I got an Oscar. Oh yeah, now we're calling you.
Well,
Instead of just because yeah, I got an Oscar, but that doesn't mean your your movie that you want me in fits for what I'm good at.
that's true. Um, but it's also like they're gonna.
It maybe not be a good fit for
It
me.
may
Yeah.
it may not be, but but as a person looking at it from the standpoint of a
This
person who won, they now have the power to choose what type of projects they want to be
Yeah.
in.
And then, as I already said, it's very divisive. It's very, you know, favoritism.
Yeah.
So that means if I got an Oscar, and I already know that you probably didn't get an Oscar just because the film was good or you actually did a good job.
Yeah.
Not saying you didn't,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying. Does that mean I'll be a good fit for whatever movie you're doing? Because
No,
aren't you just calling me just because I got an Oscar?
well,
So it doesn't feel as genuine.
well, that's the thing. It's not. I won't. I'm not gonna say it's a either. It's not a either or thing when in terms of people getting calls or people getting called. Somebody's not gonna say they're not gonna. Well, I'm gonna just use Mikey Madison because she's you know she's fairly young and just won the Oscar. So people aren't gonna just call her up and be like, "Hey, I saw you just won an Oscar. You want to be in my new thing?" It's
Right.
gonna be more so. She's gonna get calls and be like, "Hey, I think you would be good for X, Y, Z. Oh, I think you'll be Bob." Like they're not gonna just lead with that, but she's just gonna get more calls just by the nature of the fact that she now has an Oscar. People aren't gonna say, "Oh, you were an Oscar in this thing," like because people are. It's like it's an understood thing. Like people aren't gonna. They're not gonna just say that explicitly. They'll probably send her or her manager or her agent or like however it works, and then like at this point she's not really even gonna need to audition. It's just she may hear about certain movies. She may talk to certain producers or collaborators, and they'll be like, "Hey, I got something I think you'll be good in." It's just once you get an Oscar, just there are more doors that are open for you for a lot of people. Now there are instances where some people don't, I guess, capitalize on that success, and a lot of things. Again, there's maybe some politics behind that. If somebody gets blackballed, if there's like oh, this person's difficult to work with. So there's stuff like that too. But once you have an Oscar, it's just one of those things. It's kind of like, I guess it's kind of similar to artists having a Grammy to some degree. It's like you get more phone calls, people.
But to bring that up,
Yeah,
there's certain good classic, legendary music stars that people have heard of that never won a Grammy.
that is true. That's true.
You know,
That's true. I feel like Grammys might be a little different just because it's hard. Like, there's people with like 10, 15, 20 Grammys, whereas like with the Oscar, it's hard to get just one. Not saying it's easy to even get a Grammy, but I feel like even with Oscars, there's a lot fewer of those awarded. Like,
which is a good thing.
yeah. So it's a lot. It is very hard to get one.
Because I feel like in music, they'll give like awards to somebody that may not be in that genre that you've seen that before. So
Yeah.
Anyways, we're rambling.
We
but
rambling, but we don't want to stay on this
too long. But yeah, post your comments down below. Let us know what part was your favorite. What um award did you feel deserving?
Yeah.
Who deserved what award and whatnot? Put it in the comments below.
Facts. I was gonna give y'all my alternative Oscars, but
Nah,
yeah, you want me to give them the alternative?
go ahead.
It's real
Make it quick.
it's real quick. It's only like a few. It's only a few.
Make it quick.
So, best music or not even best original song. It would have been I Always Wanted a Brother. I'm butchering the name of that song from Mufasa. That would have been my pick.
Anyways,
That's my pick. I feel like that was slept on. Best score, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross from they did the Challenger soundtrack. That'd been my pick.
this feels a little biased.
It's very biased. This is why this is the Collins Oscars. The Collins. Nope. I was about nope. We're not getting nope. I was like I caught myself. Nope.
Some of y'all, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Fred would get that.
He would. I'd catch myself.
Fred would be proud.
Oh my gosh.
And what's the other one?
For best actor, I would have given it to Timothy Chalamet. Not for A Complete Unknown. Not because that wasn't good. I just haven't seen that yet. I would have given it to him for Dune Part 2.
It is very biased.
It's very biased, and you can already know what I would have given for best actress.
Yep. I already know.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It would have been Zendaya for Challengers.
You told them yourself.
We know it's biased. These are the.
But they don't know.
But you had to say it.
Mm-hmm. Now you know. Now you know what I got.
But here's the thing.
What was the thing?
I don't know. I just felt like Dune wasn't awarded enough. I mean, they got a lot. It got a lot of nominations. They got a few awards, but I felt like, to me, it was the best movie of last year. And I didn't see every movie. I know I didn't see everything that was nominated, but until I do, best movie of last year.
Oh yeah, we didn't do our top 10. So.
It's okay.
But anyways, put your comments down below. Let us know. We've been rambling too much, but yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
All right, y'all. Be safe. Watch the movies. Don't do anything crazy.
If you do, take pictures.
Peace.